Island Wave 11 arrives next week, and we have mythical news, and not just that, but we also have an upcoming Colossal Awakening, it looks like. First up, the thing that I feel like everyone is the most curious behind is the Cold Island Colossal. Over in his update description, which was revealed when we got the Season of Love event, it talked about the next one, and it said the answer is found for the next one hidden amongst the distant freezing stars. So going by his update description here, there is no doubt that the Cold Island one is going to be coming, and that is going to be coming more than likely in the next few weeks. As the stars it was pointing out towards is an obvious reference towards the Cold Island sky. Now, the Cold Island Colossal, though, as Planet Island 1 was hugely surprising, it was a monumental thing, and therefore I feel like in order to captivate on the surprise element further with this one, they're gonna have to captivate that once again through the design element. I feel like the sound behind the Cold Island Colossal is going to be very akin towards the Planet Island one, so therefore I don't feel like they're gonna have the element of surprise with the sound itself. Sure, I have no doubt it's gonna change, but I do feel like the design element is probably going to be the thing that is the most spotlighted with this design overall. So therefore I'm expecting that they're going to do this with the pupil and iris. And with the iris and pupil, seeing as though these are monsters, they can absolutely get away with doing some really wacky things with the eyes themselves. The Planet Island Colossal was kind of your just general eye that you'd expect out of a design, but for the Cold Island one, they've got away with the Planet Island one now, so maybe just doing away with this eye concept and really making it monster-like is something that I would love to see with his upcoming Colossals. Perhaps changing the shape of the iris to a different kind of shape would be quite an interesting feat to accomplish. I'm really uncertain how they would go about accomplishing this in general, but maintaining that element of surprise I do think is very important behind the design itself. For the sound behind this Colossal, I've got to say it's Cold Island, you got this cold atmosphere, and therefore I feel like this voice should be a little bit more raspy. Sure, Planet Island was as raspy as anything, but this is Cold Island. If you could have a raspy Colossal voice, this is the island to do it, and I am hopeful that the Colossal's voices are going to change as we do continue to discover them. I'm curious again how this is going to happen. This is a very unique feature and very new, so it is hard to conceptualize on what is going to come out of the Colossals right now, seeing as though we only have one to go by, and we're unsure how exactly it's going to change Pear Island itself, but I am hopeful that these things are going to change, as the Colossals create everything in the monster world, so we got to give them a bit of leeway, I do feel like, behind the designs and sounds. Now, for where it's going to play, I'm expecting for it to play at the very beginning, just like Planet Island, straight before Magpie plays. Just like Planet Island before the Weirdos play, it feels like that's going to be a general spot with this, where it's going to play before the Weirdos on here, and I'm also expecting, similar to how it plays with Pulsona on Planet Island, it's going to play with Talker when they finish singing, just before the Weirdos grand duet at the end of the Cold Island song. Helping once more to transition those verses out a little bit more is definitely something that I'm expecting out of this. In saying that, the Planet Island and Cold Island songs are very similar in terms of the kind of verse shifts, and therefore I feel like also going back to how the sounds might be similar, I think that does also boost his chances of that. I'm really hoping behind his Colossals though is that we don't see it awakening. We saw them awaken before it even happened with the Planet Island one when it was revealed for the first time a month before we even had the chance to awaken this thing, so I'm really hoping that we can maintain the element of the surprise with this one and make it worth the wait. But going beyond his Cold Island Colossal now, we have Wave 11. I accidentally called Wave 12 Wave 11 all the way through the video, so every time it happens now I've got to do a dance to compensate for you guys because I got it wrong. So here's dance number 1. And for Wave 11, luckily for us, we have a bit of a teaser to go by this time. So if we head over to his login screen, as everyone's been pointing out inside of the comments, very lovely to me, we have at the very bottom of the logo here, Drummidary at the smack bottom here. And let me tell you, this design looks absolutely amazing. Going back to the ones that we've had recently, we had Incisaur and Bicinerus, two of the final redesigns ahead of Drummidary, and those both looked awesome as well, but Drummidary looks like it's going that one step further. Now, this is our final redesign out of all of the fire elementals here, and it looks like they are observing on that, which I am absolutely loving. It looks like this might be one of his best redesigns yet, and going back to how this is actually one of our final monsters, ahead of this, we have 3 monsters left on Ember Island now. We have the Colden Plant Quince, and of course, Dromedary. With Mimic Air Quince obviously being left out here, seen as though it's not having the fire element. But I am bringing that up today because everyone always brings it up in the comments and I'm like, it doesn't have the fire element, guys. Anyway, going back to Drummidary, we've talked about Drummidary a bit before, but going back to his points here, I have quite a few things to add even there, so let's go back to his points. I feel like this is his final chance to set Amber Island right. I'm drilling it in every single time the monster comes now, but no, this is Drummidary, and let me tell you guys, Drummidary has the final chance to add something to Amber Island. We've got 2 quints left for sure as cold and plant ones, but those ones I don't feel like can deliver as much as what Drummidary could. Drummidary has a huge, intense sound. Sure, if you go on over to Cloud Island, it's got a lighter part, but despite that, I feel like this is his final chance here. They're probably saving the coolest quints for last. I feel like that will happen. They've done that for every island. Look at Magical Sanctum, we've got Enchantling last. That's the low and behold of the island itself. So I am expecting for us to see the most coolest ones last, but honestly, I don't feel like we're going to get another monumental instrumentalist part like Drommedary's come along. We've probably got a vocalist or something in stores with the 2 remaining quints too, so with that in mind, we really are running out of chances here. Now, we have heard Drummidary, we've heard them in Cinerus and Wallaby's verse, and it's probably only going to play there, and it's probably going to have a lighter toned track there like it did with Cloud Island. I've not gone ahead and listened to it, seeing as I don't want to be spoiled, but it's been up for about 2 months now, 2 solid months at this point, so go ahead and watch it if you want to be spoiled, but we're not going to overhear. And going back to the verse there, I'm unsure what exactly it does there, but I am expecting a more low-key sound. Wallaby's verse is a lot more low-key, so we're expecting for it to be a little bit less intense, sort of like Candelabra level intensiveness, but also a little bit more, seen as though it's Drummidary. Even though it's going to be lighter like it is on Cloud Island Drummidary is still a little bit more intense. And a little bit of intenseness is definitely what Amber Island needs right now, so any bit of that is good in my book. I am hopeful though that it does play somewhere else, hopefully with Flumox inside of the beat pop. I'm down for that. We're all needing some more instrumental parts inside of that, and it feels like Drummidary could really lift that part up. But most importantly, out of anything inside of the song, I most want to see Drummidary in Flower and Barb's verse right at the very end. If we're going to get another intense part for Drummidary, that feels like that would match up to Drummidary the most well and their intensive sounds on the continent. This way we could have both the lighter sounds and the more intense parts inside of the Amber Island song. Going by as release for the waves so far though, we've got a rare coinciding with the waves so far too. So going by this, we also have a rare to expect, but who do we have to expect? Well, going back to his release pattern behind these rares, we've been seeing them released in the order behind the waves themselves. So we had wave 1, Yelma, wave 2, Flumox, and we've seen those rare counterparts come along in the past 2 months. So who's going to be next? It's going to be Krillby from wave 3. With Krillby, something which you probably don't know behind Krillby is the bait name behind it actually goes back to these creatures called bilbies. Now, you can see obviously in Krillby's design the fish take, but what I want to see inside of Rare Krillby is more of the bilby side of this thing. It's called Krillby, and I want to see that bilby side be explored a bit more. I want to see Whiskers to explore this like Blabbit and Catalyst and more of a land animal take than a sea creature. And make it really cute too. You know, we've had all of these monsters lately, Schlep, Rare Yorstridge, they're not being that cute, but this is your chance. We can have a bilby monster that is absolutely adorable. And you know what, we can have darker tones still. I wanted to have those darker tones, but you know what, a larger tail and cuter eyes can complete that look. And you know what, them perky ears, those are the most important feature. If we're gonna have anything on this, we're gonna have perky ears. That'd be right cute in my book, especially after Rare Yorstridge. We just need something right now. But heading over to Lycobad 666's design here in collaboration with Preed, you know what, they've gone ahead and made a Rare Yorstridge connection here with the wings. I couldn't believe this when I was making the video and I was thinking about putting their concept on screen, but they've tried to conceptualize here what Rare Krillby could look like. I feel like going back to the Rare Yorstridge slip side of things, it's definitely something that we don't need right now. I want to see, yes, a takeaway from the cat and cuttlefishness from Splatoon, the custodian, or however you say it, side of things. I want to go ahead to the land mammalness behind this creature, but going insect vibed again. I don't think I can deal with it, but I really love what they've done here with the insectness behind it. It's just right now, I feel like this isn't necessarily the best one to go down, but they've absolutely nailed the color design on here. You've got the lovely horns that are complemented towards this design. We were on about how ears could potentially go there, and they've exaggerated a lot more on the tail, which I feel like is something that they could really do with this design too. They've gone ahead and added some more shrimp-like arms towards this creature. Krillby's arms are a lot more human-like, and therefore seeing these more insectoid ones is a really interesting feat. And the buckled up teeth is something that I'm loving on this too. Heading over to us mythical now. Yes, lots of updates in the works now, isn't there? But going over to his update description once more, it reads that Rare Ostrich was the final rare mythical to arrive inside of Anniversary Year. But not just that, it states, we hope you are feeling well suited for a big surprise, and that more mythicals are abound inside of Anniversary Year, as we all know. So there's several implications behind this, but the main thing we're going to be looking at here is the well-suited part. Now, well-suited can have many implications, but there's only two that I've nailed it down to. First of all, which I absolutely concretely believe in now, is that this is going to be coming out in the Season of Love. Well-suited, you know what? We all are well-suited for the Season of Love event. As you guys know, it ties perfectly towards the Season of Love. The teasing everywhere inside of this is going to be coming soon, and they're clearly aware that we are theorizing about it as a community right now, so I feel like that is a definite thing that we are going to be seeing. But secondly, I think that this could be hinting towards the Earth Island Mythical potentially having put something inside of the design that links towards a suit. I don't think it would be the Dream Mythical, as going across all of his monsters, we don't really see things resembling clothes across them. The most that we've ever really got is Claw Vivera, so therefore I feel like having this creator input outside of the company is something where we would see this costume come to light, and therefore it makes me feel as though this suit attire might be linked towards the Earth Island Mythical, and they love to throw teasers in there. So going back to this, I feel like this may extend beyond the Season of Loveness, but also towards the design itself. So who knows, this Earth Island Mythical that we're on about inside of his other theory video may very well be exploring a suit attire. So the weird wire creatures, you know what? They might be wearing suits too. Deltarune references are abound with this mythical, guys. Heading to his release schedule now for the Season of Love. Straight up, first of all, we're going to be getting Wave 11 this Wednesday on the 8th. Following with Rare Krillby and Drummidary. Pretty consolidated release schedule for those. Not going to be changing anything there. But then next up we've got as Mythical. Now this Mythical is a bit more harder to predict for. Now we've worked out that it's probably going to be coming inside the Season of Love. Now the Season of Love lasts 3 weeks all the way until the 22nd. So therefore it could come any time inside of that. And seeing as though My Singing Monsters seems to have learned the lesson from the Crescendo Moon and Wave 11, I feel as though they might actually separate out the content here. They might have learned the lesson finally that it's better and more fun to spread out updates. So therefore I'm expecting the Earth Island Mythical to come the week after on the 15th. And then the Cold Island Conundrum, it's a bit hard to predict for, as this could come anytime, seeing as though the calendar makes it so it doesn't come for a month anyway, so it could honestly go anywhere, but if I had to put it anywhere, I would say it'd go on the 22nd. Just to give us a bit of something there, as currently we don't have anything there. Make sure to snap that like button, and you know, we've got all these amazing things in the works. We've got the Earth Island Mythical, there's no question that's going to be absolutely amazing. You know what though, I don't have to question that, but just please, if I can have anything, just give me a good Dromedary. Let one monster be good on Amber Island. Is this too much to ask? I don't know. The stars might not be aligned for this thing. Amber Island might be thought past its expiry date at this point, but I'm begging, you gotta give me one good monster.
Put up a dimple.